What's up? This is Sixers Universe here. 76ers fall to the Blazers by a score of 118-114. And if we get that Jerome Embiid and that Ben Simmons, we are going to win a hell of a lot of ball games. So I want to get this out there, this little disclaimer here, if you will, about Ben Simmons for me personally. I want Ben Simmons to be the best he can ever be. Don't get it twisted. I want Ben Simmons to take his game to the next level. I do. So whenever Ben is hot, whenever Ben has it going on, it's not, oh, look at your Ben hot takes now. For me and for others in the community who have shared this opinion, we want to see him do it for 48 minutes. Actually, that's the next big challenge for Ben Simmons. I know you can have a good game. I know you can perform at a high level. But the difference, and this was Embiid's thing too early in his career, and in Sports Talk with Bones, go look him up, and he talked about this with regard to Embiid. I need you for 4 quarters of a game. I don't expect you to be super hot for 4 quarters, but just engage the offensive system. Make yourself available. Make yourself a weapon so that it's harder to guard the team. And I feel like, and Ben himself said it, so it's not an opinion anymore. He said that I need to remind myself to be aggressive. I need to remind myself to be aggressive. And honestly, I'm just going to be very real. Nothing what he did in the Portland game, he couldn't do. He couldn't, run hard to the rim. He couldn't really, not assert himself on the defensive end of the floor. Doing a phenomenal job locking up Damian Lillard in the second half. It's not that he can't do those things. A, just do them more consistently. And then B, there's an acceptance for me, Like low 20s, late teens, probably what he's going to be around until he gets the crossover, until he gets a mid-ranger, until he gets something like that he could go to no matter what. Until he develops that part of his game, and you would have liked to think that it'd take sooner than 5 years. Until we get that part of his game, he's just not going to be an overly impressive offensive player. He's going to be that third, fourth option on a championship team. Which, given his defense, given his passing, given everything he does, I'll say to Doc and Dale Moy, I appreciate it. I see it. It's evident. It's especially evident in comparison to the guys on the opposite end of the wing. And we're going to talk about that because that was a big reason. In fact, that was the only reason you lost last night. Well, yeah, the 3-point shooting is definitely a bother. But the biggest reason you lost last night, and one of the big reasons that Carmelo Anthony could, turn back the clock. I've been alluding to this, and I said I was going to show tape of the 60-point game by Bradley Beal, and I just wanted to go into detail on how Danny Green single-handedly let that happen, and how utterly simplistic it was that it did happen. But I think last night, every Sixer fan who stayed up to watch that game saw the defense was that bad that you can't unsee it. It wasn't one of those, and it's not like his breakdowns before were technical breakdowns either, but it was so bad, so observable, that anyone could see it. And I can say it with confidence now, and people know what I mean. Danny Green is slow. Danny Green needs to retire. Danny Green needs to stop playing basketball. His defense, I'm not talking about the fact that he didn't hit shots. No. Shooters shoot, shooters miss, right? But we brought this guy in for another reason too. That was to defend. So when Doc is like, I want to use the other defenders besides Ben Simmons, I understand that. That helps him to be more aggressive on offense. But it's hard for Doc to do when Matisse Thybulle is a foul-prone player. when Burkhan Korkmaz can't defend a stick either. And Danny flippin' Green. His defense has actually regressed as the season went on. He's actually gotten worse, not better. Anthony Simmons, are you kidding me? Like, this dude is just getting torched by anyone and everyone opposite the Sixers who has the ball in his hand. It's ridiculous. I can't fathom it. You know, and it's like, okay, it's basketball. Sometimes you can get beat with a contested shot, right? You saw a little bit of that. Even though I say Korkmaz can't guard a stick, he can at least try to guard a stick. That's more than I could say for Danny Green. Danny Green right now, I was in a Discord, and I'm like, Danny Green is a ghost. That's how bad it is. It's DEFCON 1,000,000. He's a ghost right now. If I'm the opposing coach against the Sixers, that's the match. That's what I'm looking to. You screen Danny Green, you don't even have to do that anymore. If I have a fast guard, I'll just have a fast guard go straight at Danny Green. He can't cover him. Danny Green can't cover me or you or anybody. Right now, he can't cover anyone. His defense is the worst perimeter defense I've ever seen. Period. I have never seen a perimeter defender as bad as Danny Green. So somebody say, what about his deflections or etc. Barely getting a steal a game, which is not impressive. In today's NBA, hyper-pace, etc., a steal a game is not impressive. That's number one. Number two, you steal one ball a game. That is one time that you took the ball from the opposite team. Okay. There's about how many shots? Typically around 80, 85-ish. You stole the ball one time. Just to put that in proper context. Okay? One steal, 4 or 5 deflections. Who cares? Who really gives a fuck? Your man scored on you. Your deflection did not translate to a win. All it translated to is that you put your hand on the ball once or a couple of times. Great job! I want you to stay in front of your man. That is the number one thing to defense is what we all learned when we were playing out in the backyard. Stay in front of your man. Contest the shot. Your deflections, no one gives a fuck that you deflected the ball. No one cares. No one should care. That stat is disgusting to me. That stat basically says you can get beat, you can allow a shot, but hey, you touched the ball. Great job. Who gives a fuck? Yeah, I'm pissed off because if not for that pathetic, poor excuse for defense, it was only a 4-point loss. If we have an average defender there, we win last night. That's what that says. I can't take it anymore. The Sixers have a small forward problem. We have the worst small forward in the league starting. If that's not even hyperbole, that's not a hot take. That's the truth. We have the worst starting small forward in the NBA, and it's probably by a pretty big margin. And that's going to hurt us come playoff time. I've been like, the Nets. I'm not concerned. What are they now? 15 and 12. And it's kind of a sample size. You know, even the Nick Wright said they're basically 15th, which essentially means that they're winning many, they're losing many. They're the ones who I believe is a more likely second round exit because of that fact. But at the same time, for our team as we're constructed right now, Kevin Durant's on the opposite side of the wing and Danny Green is there. So when the Brooklyn Nets are healthy, and I still believe we'll beat them, but as far as our matchup with the Brooklyn Nets is concerned, who on earth are we going to put Danny Green on? And Kyrie Irving, no. James Harden ate him for lunch a couple of nights ago when we played him. You think Danny Green is sticking Kevin Durant? Because I don't. This is the issue in the NBA where we have something that no one can guard, right? Center position, Joel Embiid. On the opposite end, wing scorers are popularized. The Denver Nuggets, for example, they have Jamal Murray, they have Michael Porter Jr. We're going to be playing the Jazz in a couple of days from now. They have Donovan Mitchell. The Phoenix Suns have Devin Booker. It's important that we upgrade this position on the defensive end. We cannot continue to have a ghost of small forward. And, it sort of compounds the issue that we have Steph Curry. Not blaming Steph. I'm just saying that Danny Green is that bad that now a guy like Steph Curry, who his defense has been solid, hasn't been great, hasn't been super, but it's been solid. I could probably live with Steph Curry as being my weakest link defensively. I could probably live with that. Steph Curry can guard most point guards. So he's a little more switchable than the Ghost right now out there. But because you have both the Ghost and Steph Curry, that's why your defensive rating has gone down. And it's not totally Doc's fault because, again, what options are there? Matisse fouls like crazy. Kind of a little bit disappointing, in the game last night because Matisse did so well against the Aaron Fox. Focusing on staying in front. And then against Portland, he goes back to his old habits. I don't give a shit about the deflections. Contest the shot. Stay in front. Prevent the driving lane. That to me is more important. You're not going to get a stat on it. But I absolutely guarantee you that if you stay in front, good things will happen. That's why I've been personally on the Lonzo Ball train. I would like to acquire Lonzo Ball and kick Danny Green either to the bench or off the team. Give me Lonzo Ball. He's 6'6". He can rebound the ball. He can shoot the ball as well as the Danny Green for that shooting argument. But he's a way better defender. And he's a secondary playmaker, which we missed with Shake Milton being out. Get me Lonzo Ball. There were reports that were interested in Balokia. He who should have signed with us. He told us he was going to Europe, going to retire. We're like, okay. And then he goes to the Kings. And we just haven't really been able to boo him for that yet. Because that, I know, thank God, is something similar. But, and I know we make a meme of it, but we're Philly, man. You don't cross Philly, so we gotta get a couple of boos in. Still hurts a little, but if he does finally come to the team for a trade and shoot some threes and backs up power forward, that'll be great. But Ben Simmons was incredible, and that's how I opened up the video, and I just want to clarify to everybody that, again, I love Ben Simmons. I love his defense, I love his ability to handle the ball, I love his ability to attack. I wish he had a little bit more shifty shake in his penetration ability so that even when they form a wall, he's still able to score. But if that development does come, hopefully it will eventually come. I mean, he's only 24. Despite it being 5 years of his career, he's only 24. So the door ain't closed. But I am more at peace with the idea that 23 a game is probably the most we're going to get, and that's okay as long as that 23 comes through 48 minutes being available all 4 quarters when he's on the court. And he was more available than not, 10 and 12. Joel Embiid is the MVP of the league. And, where it's just like, he was incredible the first half, just putting everything in, just schooling everybody. And, there was criticism about the rebounding, but look, Enes Kanter is a great rebounder. In fact, I would love to get Enes Kanter up in the Blazers somehow, but I feel like the Blazers are going to make a postseason run. There are these teams that make these 6 8 seed postseason runs. It should be rebuilding, but don't. Because I would love to have Ennis Canner backing up Embiid. That would be like Howard on steroids. You have to realize that Ennis Canner is a very, very good center. He was once a top 3 pick, and his career has been somewhat a little disappointing in the fact he hasn't been on a consistent team of long-term success. And he's kind of sort of been on the edge of upper echelon bigs, but not really. But you gotta understand that Ennis Canner is really, 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 really good, especially on the boards. One of the most dominant rebounding big men I've seen in my generation. Seriously, he is that damn good. And Doc Rivers talked about it, that when you play Ennis Canner, it's going to be hard for your center to rebound the ball. Where are your guards? You know, and that's a little bit, I know Ben had 9 rebounds. It's strange. You look up a stat sheet and you see 9 rebounds, and then you see that Ennis Canner's getting all this. And really, the thing is, you're standing upright. When, for example, there was a possession where Joe B went out to contest the shot, which was the right move. But when that happens, it's just more awareness on Ben's part that if your big man is going to go out and contest, before the shot goes up, you need to get your ass into the body. Because if you're just standing upright, Ennis Canner is going to grab that board. Ennis Canner is stronger than every human being on the planet. So that Embiid's rebounds, he himself had 9 rebounds, that it went a little bit down, understandable. Just understand what Ennis Canner is. The criticism of Embiid's rebounding that I read on Discord, and maybe some other Sixers fans feel this way, the criticism is without its merit. He's giving you 35 points, you know, a couple of blocks, steals. He's just been dominant defensively again. I just don't think the criticism has its merit for Embiid on this one. He lost because of perimeter defense, and honestly, we can't shoot the ball. Just... If we get a Bajoka or whatever, great. If we get rid of Danny Green, even better. We can't go to the playoffs with Danny Green starting opposite wing and Ben Simmons, guys. It's not possible. It's not possible. You can't hide this guy. It's easier to hide Steph Curry at this point than it is to hide Danny Green. I would bench Danny Green for Furkan Korkmaz at this point. I am dead serious. Both guys are quote-unquote streaky shooters. Furkan Korkmaz can actually put the ball on the floor. I mean, not that great, mind you. But yeah, we're at the point now where Furkan Korkmaz is a better basketball player than Danny Green. We're at that point. It's time. Bench Danny Green. I knew that he was the worst starter of the starting 5. I knew it was going to cost you a couple games. It almost cost you the Indiana game. And, frankly, it cost you both Portland games, too. This guy is just not playable anymore. It almost cost you the Wizards game. You could argue it cost you the first Nets game because we were blowing out the Wizards. And then they came back because, again, Danny Green is getting torched like a motherfucker. You can't play this dude. It's that bad. I would DMP coach decision this guy. He's not in my rotation right now. He can't guard. If he can't guard, he can't play. Sorry. And I know that Ben and Joe need shooters. But at this point, Danny Green's 35% doesn't make up for his defensive lapses, which are just all over the place. Worst defender on the team right now, and it's not even close. So Sixers have to find a way through the deadline or whatever, solve that issue. But then we also have to remember it's a gap year. It's a gap year, and because it is a gap year, I feel like, you know, you're okay with the playoff loss, you're okay with whatever happens, because the original plan was 2022 free agency, and maybe get yourself a max talent, and that's probably still on the table to a degree. But because you're this close, you're one piece away. And that piece is getting Danny Green the hell out of here and getting a better replacement. Like, ironically enough, with Seth Curry, I wish we had Josh Richardson a small forward. Seth Curry and Josh Richardson, both of them complement each other, but without one, you're missing the other, right? I would have loved to have acquired Steph Curry. I would have used the first round pick, sorry Tyrese Maxey, to have traded for Steph Curry and have Josh Richardson. If you had Curry and Richardson on the wing set, that would have been ideal. Because Richardson can pass, he can create a little on pick and rolls, which once you know you have Doc Rivers, it's a far better fit than he who must not be named, who didn't know his screen to save his life. So you understand, Josh Richardson with Steph Curry and Al Horford, it would have been a very different situation for Josh. I'm just saying, I would like to have anything right now over the corpse of Danny Green. You know, Birds complain when we were like, Green is like Horford. He is the perimeter version of it. Yes, I understand that they play a different position, but they have the same impact of making a team worse than it would be if they weren't on the floor. The Danny Green problem has been exposed to the casual, and it's been exposed to me from the start. Bench, trade, waive, or convince this guy to retire. He doesn't have it. Sorry, Danny Green. Professionally, you don't have it. Because you can't guard me right now. If you can't guard me, what makes you think you can guard an NBA player? You know, you had a great career. You had 3 NBA championships. It's time to wrap it up. I mean, yes, it is one game, but it's a game we could have won. On to the next, Phoenix is going to be a hard game. Devin Booker, they got Chris Paul. They have DeAndre Ayton. They got pieces. They're 14-9? They're competitive. They're a competitive ball club, and we're going to have to put in the work to win that game. And I think we can, because the team has shown me, even in this game, it's shown me they have the ability to fight. Six of the universe. Peace.